From the newsroom to the classroom, this is CNN Student News. Thanks for spending some time with us today. From the CNN Center, I'm Carl Azus. The festivities in Denver are drawing to a close as the Democratic Convention reaches its final day. We'll be talking about the Republicans next week when they take over the political spotlight. But first, let's check out some highlights from the DNC. Day 3 brought the roll call as state by state offered up those delegates that were won in primaries and caucuses. When it came time to officially nominate Barack Obama, the convention called for an audible agreement.
All in favor of the motion to suspend the rules and nominate by acclamation Barack Obama as the Democratic Party's presidential candidate, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. 2/3 of the delegates having voted in the affirmative, the motion is adopted.
The night's speech is focused on foreign policy and national security. That's what Vice Presidential nominee Joe Biden discussed when he took the podium.
Remember when the world used to trust us, when they looked to us for leadership? With Barack Obama as our president, they'll look at us again.
The convention also heard from former President Bill Clinton, the most recent Democrat to occupy the Oval Office.
Everything I learned in my 8 years as president, and in the work I have done since in America and across the globe, has convinced me that Barack Obama is the man for this job.
Today, the DNC leaves the Pepsi Center as Barack Obama officially accepts his party's nomination. There has been a lot of talk about young people getting involved in this presidential campaign. With cable news and the internet, you guys are a lot more informed about politics than I was at your age, even if many of you aren't old enough to vote yet. Today, we're featuring two young people who are passionate about politics. First up, Nelson Garcia of affiliate KUSA in Denver, Colorado, follows a young reporter who's covering the Democratic Convention.
Out of the thousands of journalists,
good morning. Are you covering this event this morning?
Sixth grader Gabby Curry,
Who are you with?
Denver Newspaper Agency.
has got the scoop on almost everyone else here.
What I want to write is about like a kid's point of view.
Like the professionals, Gabby's covering press conferences, taking notes, and writing stories on what's going on at an international event.
I'm actually reporting at the DNC, and I'm 11.
Thank you very much.
You know, I know you wanted to go to the women's caucus. Are you interested in...
With a mentor from the Denver Newspaper Agency, Gabby is experiencing everything. From all the walking,
I'm not sure who's pulling who in which direction.
to the masses of people,
How about Curry? C-U-R-R-Y.
to all the security checks.
They haven't been kept out of anywhere. It's kind of scary where they've been, actually.
It's fun to watch how some people react when they see me. It's like, are you seriously a reporter?
She is serious about her work, even if sometimes it's just kids play.
That's so cool. They have little...
Gabby loves the energy.
Yeah, sometimes you get a little nervous and you kind of get, like everyone's going to look at me.
The confidence that she exudes is something that I never could have dreamed of when I was 11 or 12 years old.
You might think that with all of Gabby's experiences covering the DNC and as a journalist, that that's what she might want to do for a living.
No, I want to be a nurse. I just recently went down to Juarez, Mexico, and the doctors there really inspired me.
Out of the thousands of journalists, there's only one Gabby Curry.
From reporting on the political process in Colorado, we're going to head east now to Pennsylvania and meet a young man who wants to educate his peers about how they can get involved. Jackie Shutak of affiliate WFMZ in Allentown introduces us to this aspiring politician.
Sitting in front of his parents' computer in Coopersburg, 11-year-old Max Ebert updates his passion project, We Are the Future, a website he created.
My website is to teach young Americans about how to get more involved in their country and politics.
The website offers links to political websites and advice on how kids can help out. Max is a young Republican who regularly volunteers in Senator McCain's Bethlehem headquarters. He's also worked for other area politicians.
And health care mandates.
This weekend, we caught up with him when he welcomed Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty to town. This motivated middle school student got his first taste of politics when he was just 7 years old, attending a rally for President Bush's re-election campaign in 2004.
I want to be a politician so I can serve the people, really help people that really need help, and set our government straight.
In his spare time, Max writes letters to politicians at every level of U.S. government, some of whom have taken the time to write back.
He's getting kids in his class interested in politics and excited about the election.
The oldest of 5 kids, Max's favorite subject in school is history. He does watch cartoons after school, but he's also a fan of the cable news networks. This tech-savvy 6th grader spends most of his time updating his website, using it to educate young voters.
Really try to get out there and get involved with politics because we are the future and we can make a difference.
Okay, you might not be filing reports from the DNC or planning a future run for GOP office, but we bet you've got some thoughts on the election process. Share them with us in an iReport. You can actually make it onto our show. Just make sure you got your parents' permission. Head to cnnstudentnews.com to find out more.
Time for the shout-out. At what national monument did Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. deliver his famous I Have a Dream speech? If you think you know it, shout it out. Was it the Lincoln Memorial, Statue of Liberty, Washington Memorial, or the Jefferson Memorial? You've got 3 seconds. Go! Dr. King offered his famous words from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out.
That happened 45 years ago today during the March on Washington, a peaceful protest of more than 200,000 people. When they arrived at the memorial, Dr. King gave what would become one of the most famous speeches in American history, sharing his vision for a world free from racial struggles. We've got a learning activity that challenges students to compare modern times to Dr. King's dream. Check it out at cnnstudentnews.com. Another popular Washington area monument is weathering some controversy right now, the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery. It's showing its age, cracking in spots after fighting the elements for more than 75 years. The cemetery says these cracks are going to get worse. It wants to replace the monument. But historical preservationists say a replica is not the same thing as the original. They think the cracks should be fixed as needed.
A word to the wise. Monopoly. It's not just a board game, it's a noun that means exclusive control of a good or service or the group that has that control.
But it is a board game, one where the goal is to make monopolies. A lot of us have spent hours traveling between Baltic Avenue and Boardwalk. But the game's popular properties have gotten a few facelifts over the years, and to celebrate the newest look, some Monopoly masters rolled the dice on a world record. Alfonso Van Marsh has the details on this global game.
It didn't start with a bang, but these board game fans were determined to get more for their Monopoly buck.
Well, they're after the Guinness Book of Records, so every single one counts.
Not everyone dressed up for the part, but all gathered around Monopoly boards in London, in Germany, in nearly 24 cities to set a world record for the most people playing Monopoly at one time.
We've actually had it as an open category waiting to receive a claim for it for a number of years now, but this is the first time someone has actually put a specific claim to us.
They needed only 1,000 people to play within an hour to qualify for the record. It was a publicity stunt for Monopoly's new World Edition, a version that left these Brits wondering how Monopoly board property in Canada is higher valued than that in London.
I don't know, it's crazy. London's like over 2.4 million. You can't even buy a place in London for 2.4 million, so I don't know.
Since Monopoly was first introduced in the 1930s, the board game's been about dice and figurines and paper money. But in order to make this world record attempt, your grandfather's board game had to hit the 21st century. Monopoly's gone high-tech.
From computer online gaming and playing on your cell phone to Nintendo and Xbox.
World record!
Parent Glenn Reed says he's had to adapt to a new generation of gaming.
It's almost like a different world as far as I'm concerned, and they're telling me how to play the game, whereas when they were younger, I was teaching them on a board game.
More than 2,000 fans did pass go. Monopoly organizers collecting a record instead of the game's trademark $200. Alfonso Van Marsh, CNN, London.
And that monopolizes all our time for the day. We'll see you tomorrow to close out the week. I'm Carl Azus.